Better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure with trouble. A wise man will hear and increase learning. The heart of the wise teaches his mouth and adds learning to his lips. The way of the lazy man is like a hedge of thorns, but the way of the upright is a highway. A merry heart makes a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. The righteous considers the cause of the poor, but the wicked does not understand such knowledge. He who guards his mouth and tongue keeps his soul from troubles. He who has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down, without walls. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. A lying tongue hates those who are crushed by it, and a flattering mouth works ruin. He who oppresses the poor reproaches his Maker, but he who honors him has mercy on the needy. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the legacy of fools. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. The wicked man does deceptive work, but he who sows righteousness will have a sure reward. He who walks with integrity walks securely, but he who perverts his ways will become known. A man's stomach shall be satisfied from the fruit of his mouth. From the produce of his lips he shall be filled. The righteous man walks in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the fool does not do so. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it breaks the spirit. The fear of the Lord prolongs days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise. The generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. He who is slow to wrath has great understanding, but he who is impulsive exalts folly. The heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on foolishness. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. He who has a deceitful heart finds no good, and he who has a perverse tongue falls into evil. A wise man scales the city of the mighty, and brings down the trusted stronghold. The ear that hears the rebukes of life will abide among the wise. The desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Better is a dry morsel with quietness than a house full of feasting with strife. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He who keeps his way preserves his soul. The discretion of a man makes him slow to anger, and his glory is to overlook a transgression. A wicked man hardens his face, but as for the upright, he establishes his way. The righteous man wisely considers the house of the wicked, overthrowing the wicked for their wickedness. The lazy man is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who can answer sensibly. A fool has no delight in understanding, but in expressing his own heart. He who is first in his own cause seems just, but his neighbor comes and searches him. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters. The wellspring of wisdom is a flowing brook. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. He who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaks perversity. Better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly, but the mouth of fools pours forth foolishness. He who follows righteousness and mercy finds life, righteousness, and honor. Whoever guards his mouth and tongue keeps his soul from troubles. The spirit of a man will sustain him in sickness, but who can bear a broken spirit? He who mocks the poor reproaches his Maker. He who is glad at calamity will not go unpunished. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. The fear of the Lord leads to life, and he who has it will abide in satisfaction. He will not be visited with evil. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to turn one away from the snares of death. A prudent man foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. A wise man fears and departs from evil, but a fool rages and is self-confident. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one perverse in his ways, though he be rich. He who is of a proud heart stirs up strife, but he who trusts in the Lord will be prospered. The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool shall swallow him up. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calls for blows.